Hi there. So welcome to the Unofficial GMAT vlog. This is the first video that we're putting up in this vlog. So let me give you a quick intro to myself for those who don't know me. So my name is Sarfraz and I am one of the co-founders of Aristotle Prep. So at Aristotle we basically do everything related to overseas education. So we write and publish books for GMAT, for GRE, for SAT. We tutor, we counsel. So I have been involved with all these activities. I've been part of the content team. In fact, I head the content team. So all the books that you use have come through me. I have taught, of course. I have counseled. So the idea behind this vlog is basically I wanted an informal communication mode, if you will, through which I can directly interact with students, share my thoughts without getting the Aristotle name in the picture. So, which is why these are called the unofficial GMAT vlogs. There's nothing official about whatever I say. Whatever I say is going to be my personal opinion. It is not going to be backed by what Aristotle feels, though it shouldn't be any different ideally. But still, I don't want Aristotle getting involved in controversies and what have you, because I'm not known to be politically correct. So these will be fun vlogs. I mean, I say things as I see it. So if I feel that a student is acting stupid, I will say that to his face or her face. If I feel that one of my competitors is acting sly or unethical, I'll also say that upfront. So yeah, these will be fun vlogs. I mean, there's no particular structure that I plan to follow in the vlogs. But we will discuss all things GMAT related and B school related. So it could be, some concepts that I see students struggle with. It could be, some questions that I keep getting from students about the admission process, about the application process, about the GMAT. So I'll address all of those in these vlogs. Any questions you ever have about, the vlogs or anything else, my email ID is there in the description. Feel free to get in touch with me directly. Don't expect an instant reply because I get a lot of mails, but I will reply for sure. You can also put up your queries on the forum section in our website. There are several ways of interacting with me. So that's a bit of a background. I mean, you'll keep learning more about me, about the company, about the vlog, about the GMAT as you watch more and more of these vlogs. But I think that's enough for an intro. So today I plan to cover this concept of, I won't tell you what the concept is because I first want you to take a look at a question and then I'll tell you what concept I'm going to be teaching you. So here goes. Okay, so for today's vlog, we are focusing on critical reasoning and I'll teach you one or two very interesting and very important concepts of reasoning without making it overly boring. So here is a question on your screen. Some of you may have seen this. It is an official question. It is from the OG verbal review, but you may have seen this particular question over different forums. If you've taken classes from me, you would have seen them in my class because I use this particular question. But I'm sure it will still be new for a lot of you. And the ones who've already seen it, even you might learn something new, in this video. So what I want you guys to do is to pause the video now and attempt this question. Give yourself say 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then come back and play the video. So you can pause the video now. Okay, so all you guys have attempted the question, and what are the answers? I'm assuming a lot of you have gone with C. A large proportion must have also gone with A, even B. All of which are wrong, of course. A, B, and C are all wrong. If it were such an easy question, I wouldn't give it to you. The correct answer is D, D for Denmark. So the ones who got it correct and who did not cheat, so by which I mean you had not seen the question earlier and you did not remember the answer, well done. But for the others, and even for the ones who got it right, why is an option such as C or A incorrect? What is the underlying concept that this argument is testing you on? That's basically what I want to discuss with you. And I'll go and discuss that first. And then we'll come back and you will yourself see why the answer cannot be anything other than D. In fact, you should have already had that answer in mind. So let's first go and discuss the concept of causality. That's what I want to discuss today. So you must have read about causality in whatever books you've referred to, or I hope you've read about it. Otherwise, you've been referring to all the wrong books and all the wrong teachers. So causality is nothing but the argument telling you something is causing something. Here's a very simple example that I normally use that you can see on the screen. John is very intelligent because he has studied at Harvard. It's a very simple causality argument. So a causality argument will always tell you something is causing something. In this particular argument, what am I saying? The cause is basically Harvard. Let's call it X. And the effect is John becoming intelligent. Let's call that Y. So a causality will always be of this form, X causing Y. However long the argument be, it can be a 10-line argument. It will eventually be distilled down to this particular arrangement. X is causing Y. So the thing with causality is, the moment you spot that the argument is giving me a causality, there are only two possible assumptions in a causality. And that is the trick. So you already know what your two answers will look like. The first assumption is, so your argument is X is causing Y. You are assuming that Z cannot be causing Y. That is the first assumption that you're making, that there can be no other reason for John's intelligence except the fact that he has studied at Harvard. There can be so many other reasons for all you know, but you are assuming that is not the case. So Z is not causing Y, and that is the simpler one. The slightly more interesting assumption, and the second one is, so you are saying X is causing Y. You are assuming it is not Y that is causing X. This is called reverse causality, and always more difficult to spot this. You see, if you go back to your argument, I'm saying John is very intelligent because he has studied at Harvard. Can't it be the other way around? It is because John is intelligent, that is why, or that is how he got into Harvard. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got through to Harvard in the first place. So, but you have already concluded that X is causing Y. So you are assuming that it is not Y that is causing X. The reverse is not happening. Whenever you see a causality, only two assumptions. These are your two assumptions. Z is not causing Y, Y is not causing X. Now let's go back to the question I gave you guys. First thing first, the problem is nobody will tell you it's a causality. And it's difficult to spot it. I'll give you a trick in a little while. But now that I'm telling you, you're looking at a causality, look at the argument again. And see if you can, paraphrase in your head, what is the cause, what is the effect in this argument. Now very clearly, if I distill it down, the argument is basically telling me that the cause is immune system, right? And the effect is mental health. If you have a strong immune, you will have strong mental health, weak immune, low mental health. So there's a direct correlation between immune system and mental health. That's basically my argument. And now that you've learned causality, what are my two assumptions in this? So the moment I realized it's a causality, I haven't even looked at the options. I am predicting the answer in my head. The first assumption, which is your Z is not causing Y. So the first assumption is nothing else can be responsible for low mental health except for a low immune system. So, or nothing could be impacting mental health except for immune system. That's the first assumption. The second assumption, and that's a reverse causality, is it is not mental health that affects immune system. So it's not the fact that I have low mental health, which is why I have a weak immune system, or vice versa. So you're assuming that is not the case. So these are the only two possible assumptions in the argument. There is no third possibility. With that, if you go through the options, A says high immune system activity protects against mental illness better than normal immune system does. It's not the answer I had in mind. B talks about mental illness being similar to physical disease, not one of the two answers I have in mind. C talks about people with high immune system not developing mental illness, again not the answer I have in mind. D says mental illness does not cause people's immune system activity to decrease. That is reverse causality. That is one of the answers I had in my head. That definitely has to be the answer to the question. So you see, I already knew what my answer would look like, which is why the moment I read A or C, I immediately eliminated those that are absolutely incorrect. So then why does everybody end up going with A and C? C is the most popular answer, I think, for this particular question. And the answer to that is because students invariably get mixed up between assumption and inference. Option C is an inference. Option A is an inference. You can infer these if you assume that the argument is correct. If you assume that the argument is absolutely correct in telling me that there definitely is a causal connection between immune system and mental health, that immune system leads to mental health, then I can definitely infer an option such as C. People with high immune system activity cannot develop mental illness. So it's an extreme inference if you ask me, and when you go through my inference lessons, you will see I always say do not go with extreme options, but let's forget that. C can be an inference, A can also be an inference. If the argument is true, then people with high immune system activity, or high immune system activity protects against mental illness better, because the ones with higher immune have a higher mental health. But A and C are all, are both inferences. You need to find the assumption. Assumption is something which will tell you that the argument is true. You can't assume that the argument is true. So it's easier said than done. A lot of confusion happens between assumption and inference. But the main takeaway for you is the causal connection. How do you spot causality? That's the question people ask me. I mean, to me it comes naturally if you ask me. But what if you can't spot it? I can't give you a blind rule, I'll give you a hint. A causality is always tested in an argument which is trying to explain a past event. So you see, if you look at your argument, if you actually pay attention to the argument that's given to you, normally you get two kinds of arguments. Most of the time you get an argument in which the author is making a prediction for the future. This will happen in the future, so this will happen, so that will happen, whatever. But in some cases, the author will explain a past event. Like in this particular case, why did those people perform poorly on the test of mental health? Because they had weak immune system. Causality, you will always see, it will never be about predicting something for the future. It's always about explaining a past event. You can try using that logic, see if it helps you. But that is causality for you. It's a very, very important concept. If you can spot it in the original argument, you can get to the answer very, very easily. If you can't spot it, you will be all over the place and you will most likely end up inferring from the argument. Great. So I hope you found that little lesson useful and informative. In case you did, make sure that you subscribe to the vlog, because what I'll be doing is I'll be putting up one video every day. So it'll be a new video every day, every single day, without fail. And it'll talk about something about GMAT, something about B school, admissions, the lot. So make sure that you subscribe to the unofficial GMAT blog, and welcome aboard once again. So I'll see you tomorrow. Have a nice day.